First, we have a midterm exam on October 23rd, and the midterm exam is going to be administered on Blackboard. So I'm going to have it up from morning until very early morning, like 6 a.m. to midnight. And the essay questions that you have, for example, 2 homework assignments, one for September 4th and one due September 11th. And those are going to be the essay questions you're going to have to choose from on the actual midterm exam. So that's going to help you prepare. I'm going to give you feedback starting with your September 4th essay and help you develop it into a better one. And then you're going to also have 15 multiple choice questions. So that's one important thing that you have. So you have midterm 2 homework assignments that are going to help you for that. And then you also have a third important thing, which is actually 2 more, but let's talk about the third. It's going to have several different components to it. The first is going to start out with an individual component, and then it's going to go into a group component, and then it's going to go into an international group component. So the first thing you have to do is select a luxury store. And we've been studying luxury stores in past semesters, so I'm going to put that up on Blackboard also. And you're going to have a chance under this luxury tab to see reports from earlier semesters when students went into the luxury stores and they did comparison of Louis Vuitton, Prada, Burberry, Chanel, Gucci. Those were the 5 stores that you have to choose from. So you're going to choose a brand, one of these brands. And by the way, this week on Thursday is Fashion Week. Stores are going to be open late. That might be a good time if you feel a little bit uncomfortable going into the luxury store, being the only one there, the only crowd there on that day. But what you're going to do first is going to choose a store, and you're going to let me know on Blackboard which store you've selected by September 15th. So let's say you decide to go into Prada. All these stores are in Manhattan, so it does require a trip into Manhattan that I hope you can make. You'll let me know if you're in Moscow or you're somewhere and you can't be, we'll figure out an alternative for the other stores. But what we're going to do is go into the store, engage in a transaction with the salesperson, so you'll pretend you're shopping, you're looking for a wallet for your dad, and you'll say dad already has, let's say Louis Vuitton, he already has a Louis Vuitton wallet, you think you'd like to get a new one, the person will show you a couple of models and everything, you'll say, well, actually I'm not sure which one he has, there's some nice selections, I'm going to show me online, I'll decide. Then you're going to write up a small analysis of your visit, the customer service, how you felt about the products, the store environment. I'll write some definite questions for those of you who feel you need more definite guidelines, but it can be, you can focus on what you want. Some people might want to focus more on the customer experience, others more on the aesthetics of the store, others more on the products. So it's up to you. And you're going to then get assigned to a group within our class of other people who are studying the same brand. So you're studying Chanel, let's say, you're going to be in a group of other Chanel people, let's say up to 5 others, and you're going to communicate with them. And then for October 9th, you're going to do a group analysis of the store visit experience, comparing the brand you all visited, but looking at some similarities, some differences, comparing the experience, seeing what comes up. Maybe one of you had a really bad experience, probably weren't treated well, somebody else a very different experience. So it's going to be a chance to interact, to communicate. I'm going to also create groups on Blackboard. We just have a new, as you know, probably a new version of Blackboard that has more capabilities. So I think we're going to have a discussion board for the group. I think we'll also have a possibility maybe for some video conferencing that can be done through Skype also. So you can communicate through email. Then the next assignment is going to be, I have a colleague who's in London at the London College of Fashion. She thought her students would be very interested. So they're going to visit the same 5 luxury brands in London. Then you're going to be assigned to the Prada, the Louis Vuitton group, and you are going to provide them with your summary of your group's experiences and look at what they find and come to some determination of what's interesting. In each case it'll be a little bit different. You want to see, are there some cultural differences? Are there different expectations perhaps the London students have? In my experience in talking to this colleague of mine, she told me that her students are much more formal. They expect an experience that's not as, perhaps not as friendly as a lot of she noticed that in past encounters with students. So maybe that'll be something that you'll find out that you'll discover, or maybe not. So we want to look at that, or maybe the brand, different perceptions about the brand that might come out when you discuss it with the London students. And you might have a representative from your group. You might all have an email exchange together. You'll decide how to communicate with the group when we get to that point. So that's going to be due October 30th. And then we have one more project that I want to just explain very briefly, and that's called the Final Project. And that's the project where we have set aside the December 4th and the December 11th classroom presentations. We may modify that, because again, this is a fully online class. If too many students feel that it's not possible or too difficult to come in, it can be done totally online via Blackboard. So basically, you have all these different components to write a paragraph or two about your brand. You're going to decide as a group, or you can decide to work individually. There's the option. So let's say you've had enough of the group work and you want to work alone, and you want to study, let's say you want to continue studying the luxury brand that you studied, Chanel, and you're going to do it on your own. That's one option. Another option is as a group to decide which brand you want to study. And I've listed a couple on the syllabus that Victoria's Secret, for example, Nautica, Adidas, and these are brands where Brooklyn College students are currently working, probably in marketing or in some cases in sales roles. And you're going to have a chance to interview and to ask questions and to get inside information directly from that Brooklyn College student. And they've agreed to that through the Magna Center. Or you can choose any brand you want. You have all these little individual assignments. As you see, October 16th is the first one. What is the identity of the brand? So you're studying Chanel. What kind of brand is Chanel? What type of consumer are they aiming their product toward? How important is the heritage, the history of the brand? Those are the kinds of things you want to consider and write about. The next one is who is their demographic target market? So sometimes you can answer this in a brief paragraph, sometimes you need a little more space. But as you see, there's different deadlines for those products, and it's going to become one entire project. And what you're going to do is create a PowerPoint, and it's going to culminate in a video interview of an employee in one of the companies. Now, if it's one of the Brooklyn companies that I specified, or Brooklyn College student companies, they've agreed to do that interview. If not, if it's Chanel, there's really not much likelihood that you're going to get a Chanel marketing person to let you do an interview. So in that case, we're going to have a substitute project. Like, for example, let's say you identify a customer that one of the group members, or that if you're doing it individually, somebody who's very loyal to the brand, somebody who's a fan of the brand, and so in terms of social media, follows them on Twitter or Facebook. Instead, you can interview that person. We'll think of an alternative project. But generally what you're trying to do is you're trying to put together a comprehensive PowerPoint where each of those individual pieces of your project becomes, let's say, a screen. So you'll talk about the identity, the marketing, how the brand uses the store to convey an image, what the brand is doing differently on its website. So each of these components is going to be addressed. And then finally you want to say something in conclusion about what the brand is doing well, what you would do to change or improve the brand image or the marketing of the brand. There might be a particular area that you would like to focus on for your project. And then if you have the interview or some other component, that can be embedded within this PowerPoint. So those are the major components of the class. Take a look at your lecture notes that I did a PowerPoint for. That explains it in more detail as well. And every week I'll have a video going over what's expected, and I'll also post an announcement what's expected of you for each class.